Shalom, shalom. All right, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And, this is an article that I just came across this morning. It's, as it says here, this is from rtnews.com, but it pretty much came out just about a couple of minutes ago. And, I just got excited when I saw it, and so I say, hey, through the spirit, Lord willing, I'll do a video on it. And it's exactly as I put in the title. Okay, now, in the headline of this article, it says, NATO unveils master plan to defeat Russia in nuclear war. Okay, as Moscow says, confrontational playbook shows it was right to cut ties. And seeing a headline like this, and of course knowing the prophecies, this is why it's so important to understand prophecy. Okay, you understand, or you already know what time it is. You already know where all this is going. Now, one thing that you got to think about is, well, how is it that it's like everything that we've been saying, when you look at the things that are happening in the world, they're going in that course, in that direction. Now, if NATO is gonna unveil a master plan about this, what happened to all the so-called peace talks that they were trying to have? When Trump was in office, they were all quote unquote say, oh, Trump and Putin are buddy in the U.S. and Russia's relationship is not that bad, and this, that, and the third. But now NATO, right? Not just the U.S., but NATO, okay, which is a part of the beast, all right, unveils a master plan to defeat Russia in a nuclear war. Now, usually they would hold back because of a term they call MAD, mutually assured destruction. But lately, you've been seeing North Korea's been shooting and testing missiles. They said China tested, I think, this hypersonic missile. The U.S. also was testing some weaponry. What's their name? Russia also testing things. You have Israel now saying that they're basically prepared to strike Iran. All right, and now you have this right here. Now, as we go into it, it's gonna tell you how this plan heavily focuses, or more so, the focus was on non-conventional war, dealing with nuclear weapons and cyber attacks and space warfare. Okay, because everything is shifting in the direction of prophecy. So when we come out here and we go into the scriptures and we show you these things, it's not make-believe. It's happening exactly as it's been written, because what's written was a sign of what was going to happen. What's written in the scriptures is not a prediction. Okay, so as a matter of fact, let's start off, and that's what a lot of people are gonna see. A lot of people, they don't, number one, they don't believe it, and number two, they're not paying attention. So it's gonna come upon a lot of people as a surprise. Okay, it's gonna shock a lot of people, and they're not gonna know where these things are coming from. In their mind, they think everything is all good. In their mind, their biggest worry is being able to work or being able to go to a party, and not get restricted because they don't have a pass. But meanwhile, these evils are growing upon the face of the earth. All right. Yep, yeah, like the brother put, Yahweh the Yaquab 2, Israel is doing drills with 7 countries. So why all this war talk? Why all these war drills? Why all these things pertaining to war? Why? Because we are in a time of war. Okay, and we know that after this chip comes out, the destruction is going to follow. So when you see talks of the destruction getting closer and closer, you know that that chip is even closer. Because when you look at what it takes for these nuclear war to actually break out, you have to be at a certain breaking point, because a nuclear war is something you don't reverse. That's something you don't. That's why they had that term MAD, right? Mutually assured destruction. So To have a nuclear war, things have to build up. You know, things have to build up. Things got to get intensified. Relationships have to be at an all-time low. And as the scriptures say, the Lord said he's going to put an evil thought into the mind of the Russians. And they're going to think an evil thought. And they're going to go to the land of unwalled villages. And they're going to blast the shit out that place. All right? So, real quick, I'm going to read this verse. And then we're going to read the article. Because it's a fairly short article. But what I'll do is I'll put the link in the chat. And then I'll also put it in the description box. So, let me read this real quick here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. And I'm going to jump down. See, because a lot of people think that just because they don't believe these things, magically they just disappear. If you don't believe these prophecies, that's going to work against your ass. Now, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Right? I'm going to jump down to verse 8. It says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So when you look around, and if you're actually measuring the times diligently, you can tell that we are not in a time of peace. We are in a time of war. See, on the internal side, they're saying that now there's a new strain that's going around, right? And then you have these on the external, the geopolitical aspect. You're having these nations that are getting ready for war. And why is all this happening? Because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is putting his spirit upon the earth to have these prophecies be fulfilled. He's not going to hold his tongue any longer. He's not going to, allow these prophecies to just be there any longer. You know, Jake, you tell them these things and some of them might say, oh, well, I could see that happening. But then, I don't think that that'll be happening anytime soon. All right. Let's see. This is the book of Psalms chapter 119, verse 126. It says, it is time for thee, Lord, to work, for they have made void thy law. So what do you think the Lord is doing? He's working. Those angels are working on the minds of these kings, all these kings, as we speak. Okay. So now let's read a bit of this article here. And it says here, top defense chiefs from NATO members or NATO member states have given a green light to a new grand strategy on how to beat Russia in any potential all-out conflict. As Moscow says, the move proves the US-led bloc isn't open to improving relationships or relations. Okay, so now ask yourself, if you guys really are trying to work on avoiding war or bettering your relationship with Russia, why are you approving a strategy, right? A strategy in order to beat Russia in a conflict, unless you're anticipating having to do that. Okay. Let's look up the word strategy. Now it says here, a strategy designed to achieve a major or overall aim. Okay. The second part says the art of planning and directing overall military operations and movements in war or in battle. A plan for military operations and movements during a war or battle. So why are you coming up with strategies to defeat Russia in a nuclear or in an all-out war if you don't have plans to go to war with Russia? Because the first definition says it's a plan of action or policy that is designed to achieve a major or overall aim. So if you are coming up with a plan to defeat Russia in a nuclear war, then what does that say? That says that your aim is to go to war with Russia. You're anticipating that you will go to war with Russia. All right, because now with with China breathing down their necks, like, you better back the hell up from Taiwan, and Biden's ugly ass talking about, oh nah, we're gonna defend Taiwan, even if it means we have to go against China. So when they're seeing these nations start sharpening their sword, they're like, yo, we gotta, we gotta do something, because the US can't flex the way it used to, because now they're not the only ones, they're not the only world superpower. And a lot of these countries that may not be world superpowers are allied with a world superpower. So it's gonna be an actual war. It's not gonna be just I'm a Hiroshima and Nagasaki your ass. Okay? So it says here, and it says, as Moscow says, the move proves the US-led bloc. You hear that? The US-led bloc. Okay? Because the US is that whore that sitteth upon that dragon, that beast. Okay? It says, the US-led bloc. Hey, shalom. Shalom to all you tuning in. Yahweh Bashim Shai Brakatham. Isn't open to improving relations. So what's Russia gonna think? Well, here it is, we're trying to work on avoiding war, but you're coming up with plans to defeat us in war. What do you think we're supposed to do? What do you think Russia's gonna think? They're gonna start having evil thoughts. They're gonna start saying, well, hold on. So we were right, and the article's gonna say it. They're gonna say, well, we were right to not, to break those treaties, to disannul it, because while you are trying to put up that front that you're trying to work things out and you're actually coming up with plans to defeat us, what are we supposed to do? Just lay here and wait for you? No. So you're gonna have these nations start, and these other nations, they're gonna see that and they're gonna be like, look, let me start honing up my sword too, because if this war breaks out, I can't be caught lacking. All right. It says here, on Thursday, ministers met in Brussels to sign off the scheme. All right. So they met to sign it off, named, and this is what it's called, the concept for deterrence and defense in the Euro-Atlantic area. According to NATO's General Secretary Jens Stoltenberg, it is part of efforts to continue to strengthen our alliance with better and modernized plans. So they want to strengthen their NATO alliance with better and modernized plans, like defeating Russia in a nuclear war. Why are they talking about nuclear war? Because it's prophesied in the scriptures. Okay? Because nuclear war will happen. Because as it says here in the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 5, it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise. Yeah, because in the ancient world, when you went to war, it was with confused noise. On the battlefield, you'll be hearing all manner of sounds. Whether it's somebody screaming because he got stabbed my rib, or somebody who got or horses, or war drums, or war cries, or elephants, or the sound of swords and shields clashing, or swords and swords clashing. All of these things is confused, a confused noise, right? It says, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And as we go and we hit that part in the article, I'm going to come back and read this article again, or this verse again, Salakia, and you'll see just how it goes with it. All right. So they're talking about nuclear war. That means that the whole time they've been sharpening their nuclear weapons, it's for nuclear war. All right. Shalom. This is Amawan Ibad, Isaiah 9 and 18. For wickedness burneth as the fire, it shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke. Verse 19, through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. Why are they going to be as the fuel of the fire? Because when the missiles hit, these people and everything on that particular land is going to add to the fuel of the fire. It's going to add to the burning. Okay? This is GMS Quam Bayah 2, Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. So does that mean that one day it's just going to get hot as hell? It's going to 100,000 degrees. It's just going to be hot as hell? No. But why is that? Why is it going to burn as an oven? Because you're going to be having nuclear missiles flying. All right. It says, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord. So why are scriptures like these written? That's the question you got to ask. Why are they written and in the prophetic sense, and when are they going to be fulfilled? And how is it that just as we're getting so close to this charagma coming out, now you're hearing talks about pretty much World War III, about nuclear war, right? Because as US tries to mess around with Ukraine, and Russia keeps warning them about certain things that they're doing, saying you need to chill out for the sake of peace. But now Russia ain't gonna need to do that, because they're like, oh, these devils, they already have a plan. So if they provoke us, they're already coming up with plans to go to war with us anyway. All right. But you notice the order of prophecy, right? In order for these prophecies to be fulfilled in the order in which they have to be fulfilled in, you'll see sometimes the Lord will put, he'll step on the gas a bit concerning this World War III, and then he'll ease off of it a bit. And then you'll hear more talk. Sometimes he'll step on the gas of the charagma, and then he'll ease off it a bit. Okay, but it's also that at the appointed time, each prophecy can be at a certain percentage of completion that it goes right in line, okay, with how the Lord wants it to go. But let's keep reading. So it says, the block officials insist they don't believe an attack is imminent, but that it is worthwhile being prepared in any case. As part of the plan, NATO troops would fight against Russia's forces in both the Baltic region and across the Black Sea. So when you go into the book of Second Esdras, it talks about the Second Esdras, I believe, the 16th chapter, about the bridegrooms dying in the war. Why do you think that is? This is Second Esdras 16, verse 33. It says, the virgins shall mourn having no husbands, the women shall mourn having no, the virgins shall mourn having no bridegrooms, the women shall mourn having no husbands, their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the wars, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. And that draft is coming back. And they're going to send a whole lot of people over there. That's why you have the prophecy in Revelation 16 being fulfilled, where it says that the river Euphrates is drying up. So somebody explain to me what other book has these prophecies that are being fulfilled before your eyes. Right now we are in that Revelation 13, and he causeth all, that poel. So after he causeth all, what happens after that? Well, whatever he caused them to do is what's going to happen, which is that to receive it. So he's causing them right now, poel, which means to make ready, to fashion, to prepare, so at the time to institute, right? And what are they going to institute? That grain of rice. So he's going to cause all to receive that thing. And right now he is causing all, and what's coming after that thing that he's causing them to receive? Okay, so we're literally in the midst of prophecy right now. We're seeing these things happening. The world is not the same. And that fire is getting hotter and hotter and hotter, because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is getting ready to destroy this place, and Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come back. All right? This is biblical prophecy. Now it says here, so the NATO troops would fight against Russia's forces in both the Baltic region and across the Black Sea. It says the battle plans also focus on non-conventional warfare. Now here's the key part. The battle plans also focus on non-conventional warfare, including the use of nuclear weapons, cyber attacks, and even conflict in space. So NATO has green-lighted a plan to go to war with Russia, and in their battle plans, they focus on using nuclear weapons. Why are they focusing on using nuclear weapons in a war with Russia when they know Russia also has nuclear weapons? Because this is all biblical prophecy. World War III is going to be a nuclear war. It's going to be a nuclear Armageddon. It's written all over the scriptures. It's written in many ways. It's written as arrows being shot off, as the land of the land before them being as the land of Eden, and then after them a desolate wilderness, a flame burns behind them, They're like fiery flying serpents. These are all talking about those nuclear missiles. But you just have to have the spirit of prophecy on you, the Rakah Kodash, in order to understand it. But Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that He has given us the spirit and the eyes to see and to understand it. So we know exactly what's going on. And we know that this is not for show and is not a facade. We're not saying World War III is going to break out next week, you know. But see, don't get it twisted. They could have the war could break out very soon, but it could take time before that war goes nuclear. All right. So don't think that, well, if they declared war with Russia or with China or with this country, you know, in a week or when some change, oh, all of a sudden the week after that the missiles are flying. No, until that chip comes out and is made mandatory throughout the whole planet, that war, that destruction, that nuclear destruction is not going to take place yet. All right. So this is all the preparations for it. You know, the Lord is preparing it for it. So when that prerequisite prophecy, which is the MOTB, when that gets fulfilled, boom, this is coming right after. All right, because everything on the World War III nuclear level will be ready to go, and the Lord is just gonna give it that go ahead. Revelation, the 7th chapter, and the first few verses. Okay, so I'm gonna read this part again, and like I said, we're gonna read Isaiah 9 and 5 again, which says. In the article, it says here, the battle plans that NATO came up with to defeat Russia, right? It says the battle plans also focus on non-conventional warfare, including the use of nuclear weapons, cyber attacks, okay? Cyber attacks, and even conflict in space. Now, for brothers who play video games or are familiar with it, I think a couple of years back, there was a Call of Duty game that came out, and it was called Infinite Warfare. And when you understand the concept, they were pretty much you play in space, you know, in space on, like, you know, different like what do they call them, satellites and stuff like that. Different space stations is where you would be fighting people in space, you know, and that's war. I forget what the two sides were. But you pretty much had war in space, okay? Infinity War. I think it was. I think it was Infinite Warfare, you know. And you can look it up, and there was pretty much war in space. So for them to say that now, or for them to put that in a video game, that's not just for no reason. Especially if it's a game of war, they unveil certain secrets in these games, okay? So now they're gonna be up in space. They're gonna be getting ready to use nuclear weapons. They're gonna be getting ready to use them cyber attacks. As what's this guy, Klaus Schwab, warning about a cyberdemic, you know. So all these things are working together to fulfill these prophecies beautifully. All right. Now I wanted to look up. Let's see. The word conventional. See what it gives us. Boom. So conventional says based on or in accordance with what is generally done or believed, right? Traditional, usual, typical. So when you come to Isaiah 9 and 5, it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise. That is the conventional way. You know, that is the way, the typical way, the traditional way of going to war. You would have your armies, the other nation would have their armies, and then you would get ready, and then you would fight each other, and there would be confused noise and garments rolled in blood. That was the typical way. That was the conventional way. Okay? But it says what? But this will be with burning and fuel of fire. So this is going to be non-conventional. This ain't going to be just your typical average war. Because in conventional warfare or conventional war, you don't have nuclear weapons and cyber attacks and space conflict. All right? And you know damn well that they know that that space conflict ain't going to be just them going against each other. All right? They know that eventually they're going to have to go up against, let's go to it. All right, the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 7, it says, and there was war in heaven. Now, this isn't talking about the spirit world heaven. It's talking about the heavens, okay? Where, as it says here, the atmosphere or space. And it says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon. Okay? Which, if you want to sum it all up, that's Esau. But in this sense, what part of Esau is going to fight against the Lord when he comes down? Esau's military. And that's why you got Nato, which is a part of the beast, which is also synonymous with the dragon. Okay? It says here, and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Because you're not gonna have, it's not gonna be just I forgot what president it was who made that speech, that if there was some foreign threat, wouldn't they all stop fighting against each other and fight against that foreign threat? And that's also in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, that they're going to leave the war that they have with each other, and they're going to come together to fight against, oh, Bush Senior, hey, the water. All right. They're going to fight against the Lord. Okay. So this is a prophecy here. So when you hear that, they're having a space force and they're talking about conflict in space and this, that, and the third. Well, if the scriptures say, matter of fact, I'll just go to it. In 2nd Ezra 13, let's see. 2nd Ezra 13, verse. Let's see. Salaki, give me 1 second while I find this precept. I always. I'm going to have to look it up on here because whenever I try to look it up in this book, I always miss it. But in 2nd Ezra 13, it tells you that they're going to stop the war they have with each other and they're going to come and fight against the Lord. Okay. Let's see. 2nd Ezra 13. And ultimately, they're going to lose because in the first few verses, it tells you already how that war is going to go. Okay, how the Lord is not even going to need to lift up a sword. Okay, He's going to completely disintegrate these people. All right. So this thing is right here at the door, man. It's literally right here at the door. It's literally right there in front of you. Oh, the water's a Quran. 2nd Ezra 13:33. Yes. There. Yep. This is it. This is 2nd Ezra 13, verse 33. It says, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. So what does this tell you? This tells you that when Yahweh Shai comes, there's going to be war going on. Why do you think he's going to need to deliver his elect? Real quick, let's go to the book of, and we're going to come back to the article, but let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 20, let's see. 26, Isaiah 26 and 20. It says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, which are the chariots, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. So what's going to be that indignation? The fire, the nuclear fire. All right. And you're also going to have lasers being shot from those chariots. But hiding ourselves is how we get delivered, so we don't get burnt up. Verse 21, for behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain. And this links with Revelation 15, because it talks about those that got the victory over the beast, standing over the sea of glass, mingle with fire. That's in essence them being hidden for a little while till the indignation be past. So what's going to cause or bring about that indignation? Let's go to the book of Isaiah 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. Okay? The waster to destroy. So what are those wasters that are going to destroy? Those nuclear weapons. And what else are they known as in the scriptures? Let's go to Isaiah 13, verse 5. It said, I'll start at verse 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains like as of a great people. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So what are those weapons? The same wasters that are to destroy, which is the nuclear weapons. All right. So when Yahushua comes back, there's going to be war going on. And then they're going to stop, and then they're going to try to fight against them, but they're going to lose horribly. All right. So when we see signs of World War III, we know that the MOTB prophecy is even closer. Because look, when you're looking at something that's afar off and you can barely make out what it is, and then it starts coming closer and closer and closer, and then you can see it clearer, we know that if we can see World War III clear, then that chip must be right up in front of us, because the chip comes before World War III. All right. So if we're hearing talks about this nuclear war, then that means the prophecy that takes place before that, the nuclear war prophecy, is that much closer. That's why they're talking about these central bank digital currencies. All right. And then all of a sudden everything is going digital now. They're doing away with cash. Okay, so it's all going to tie in, and then right behind it, you're going to have that World War III. But then what do we know ties in with World War III? Yahushua's return. So yeah, we can't come and tell you, oh, in 2022, August 22nd of 2022, the Lord is going to come back on this day at this time. But we can tell you that he's coming back very, very close. This time of his return is very close, because the time in which he's going to arrive, we're seeing that getting closer and closer. All right. So back to 2 Ezra 13 and 33. So really, you should be excited. You should be you should be on fire. Everybody should be on fire, because you're seeing the things that you're talking about happening. So there should be no doubt in your mind that every word written here is true, which goes into what's going to happen to you if you're not on fire, and which goes into what's going to happen to you if you are on fire. All right. It says, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. So whether the battle is on land or it's in space, they're going to stop fighting against each other. Verse 34, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together. Okay, so where is that going to come from? It says, as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him, who's the him? Yahushua, by fighting. Okay? So when the Lord returns, they're going to stop whatever wars they have against each other, and in the name of humanity, the dragon and his angels are going to fight against Yahushua, Michael, and the rest of the angels. And they're going to lose terribly, because let's go back to Revelation. It's written in there how the war is going to go. Revelation 12 and 7 again. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. And there's your clue to find out who this dragon, who this devil, who this Satan is. He, go to Job 9 and 24. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So Esau and his military and everybody else that is going to fight with them against the Lord, they're all going to be done. They're all going to be through. So guess what? This article here, them NATO coming up with a plan to defeat Russia in nuclear war, they don't even know that that's going to lead to the whole planet being subjected by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That has to happen before the Lord comes back. So that's why we're excited. So let's keep going. Now it says, there is no need. Oh, let me read this again. The battle plans also focus on non-conventional warfare, including the use of nuclear weapons, cyber attacks, and even conflict in space. However, Kremlin Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov hit out at the adoption of the strategy on Friday, saying that it shows there is no prospect for turning around the rock bottom relations with the bloc. All right. Now, when you look up the word prospect, it says the possibility or likelihood of some future event occurring. So there is no likelihood, there is no hope, there is no expectation. And let's put those synonyms back into what he said. So NATO says, we're coming up with this plan to defeat Russia in nuclear war. And then the Russians said, it says that what? This plan that they came up with shows that there is no hope or no anticipation or no chance in the future or now for turning around rock bottom relations with the bloc, because Russia and these people are at rock bottom relations. Okay? Why do you think the Lord had NATO stay all the way on throughout and it never dissolved? Because it had a purpose to fulfill. So now Russia is like, look, you just showed us that this horrible relation that we have with each other, that's not turning around because of that. Now he goes on to say, there is no need for dialogue under these conditions, he argued, saying that the adoption of such a concept by NATO confirms it once again. According to him, this alliance was not created for peace. It was conceived, designed, and created for confrontation. NATO, I'm going to repeat, this is what the Russians said, right? This alliance, which is NATO, was not created for peace. It was conceived, designed, and created for confrontation. And what kind of confrontation is that? Biblical confrontation, which is what? A nuclear confrontation. So you people can go on living your lives, but as it says in Luke 17:26, that just like it was in the days of Noah, they ate, they drank, they married, they gave in marriage up until that day. And that's how it's going to be in the days of the Son of Man. And what's going to be happening in the days of the Son of Man? You're going to have chaos and nuclear war going on. All right, the destruction that we've been also talking about, that our elders and apostles have been talking about for years on end. But now it's finally about to take place. It says here, defending the measures, Stoltenberg told reporters earlier this week that the bloc welcomes U.S. efforts to really engage in meaningful strategic talks with Russia over the extension of the New START atomic weapons treaty, saying that some important steps have been taken recently. But now let's go to the book of Proverbs. Because if you're paying attention, you can see they have this, like, it's like a tug of war going on, you know, where the direction of prophecy is leading them to go against each other. But they're trying to avoid it. But the Lord is like, no, sir, none of that. You gonna do it. Because nobody has resisted the Lord's will. And the Lord's will is that you're gonna go to war, whether you like it or yes. So it says here, however, he added, the relationship between NATO and Russia is at its lowest point since the end of the Cold War. And the reason for that is the Russian behavior. Oh, goodness gracious. So let me repeat this part again. It says, defending the measures, Stoltenberg told reporters, which when we go up, this same individual, Stoltenberg, was, it says here, he's the NATO General Secretary. So here it is, man, the nerve of these people, man. You're going to come up with a plan to defeat Russia in nuclear war, right? And then when they reply that, you see, this is why we can't fix things, you're going to tell them that you welcome, the U.S. welcomes efforts, or the bloc welcomes U.S. efforts to really engage in meaningful strategic talks with Russia. You want to have strategic talks, but you preparing for nuclear war with us? Really? Some important steps have been taken recently, and as important as coming up with plans, they green lighted it and they signed off on it. So they agreed to it. It says, however, he added, the relationship between NATO and Russia is at its lowest point since the end of the Cold War. And the reason for that is the Russian behavior. So now they blame the Russians, right? Blame Russia for that. Set up a plan to go to war with them. No, sorry, to defeat them, right? And then tell them that we welcome you to, work with us, but just know that this is your fault. The pride, man. Now it says, they have invaded the neighbors. They have annexed part of another country. They are investing heavily in nuclear capabilities. The bloc's top official claimed. Why the hell do you think that is? Because the U.S. thinks that, because of course they're the head, they think that it's their job to go around the world and just fix everything. China is telling the U.S., yo, this is a internal domestic problem we'll deal with ourselves. We don't want you here. We don't need you coming and intervening. U.S. says, oh, no, 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 no. If you don't let us come in there and fix your problems, we're going to go to war with you. You got to let us come in and take care of that. If you don't like that, then hey, we got a problem with you. And guess what? That's going to lead their ass straight up into war. So it says here, they're meddling in our democrat. So now this is what the bloc is pretty much saying against Russia. That they have invaded the neighbors. They have annexed part of another country. They are investing heavily in nuclear capabilities. Okay, so that's a problem. The U.S. is threatened. It says they are meddling in our democratic processes, and we have seen Russia being responsible for aggressive acts against NATO allies. So if you can sit here and tell me that nuclear war is not on the table and that it's not going to happen, then clearly you've been blinded. You don't have it. You don't have it. Okay? You don't have it because how many times have they constantly gone back and forth? The US and Russia, US and Russia, US and Russia, US and Russia. And it just never stops. So you know what needs to happen? They just need to go all out. Now it says Moscow, however, has sounded the alarm in recent days over a number of standoffs with U.S. battleships and warplanes near its borders. Please tell me World War III is not going to happen. Tell me that's not biblical prophecy. Tell me, no. The words of the Lord, that's not what it means. No, when it says that, that's not, it's talking about volcanoes. It's talking about Leviathan. It's talking about all these other things, but it's not talking about the missiles. Now there's a precept that does mention it, the crooked serpent, and we understand all those breakdowns. But you have people that say, no, ain't no such thing as nuclear war. You could show them all the precepts in here, and then they won't be able to explain what the precept means, but they can be an expert and tell you what it doesn't mean. So it says here, earlier this week, 2 fighter jets were scrambled to escort a pair of American USB B-1B strategic bombers over the Black Sea. Now, keep in mind, wasn't the Black Sea one of the areas that they said that the troops will go to war with Russia with? It says just days after Russian sailors intercepted the USS Chaffee, if I'm saying that right, as it set course for the waters of Peter and Great Bay, which Russia maintains is its sovereign territory. So they're getting aggressive. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova hit out at Stoltenberg's comments on Thursday, saying that the NATO boss underestimates the scale of the problem in relations. Ties between the two are actually even in a state worse than at the point during the darkest days of the Cold War. The relationship between the two are worse than at any point during the darkest days of the Cold War. And this war is about to get real hot. It says, speaking to dignitaries in a speech at the Valdai Discussion Club on Thursday, Russian President Vladimir Putin accused the U.S. of opening the door to Ukraine joining NATO with a recent trip by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin to Kyiv. And Russia's real touchy about that, It says, however, even without the Eastern European nation joining the bloc, he said, the military development of the territory is already underway. And this really poses a threat to the Russian Federation. So now what's going to need to happen? Because Russia fears the U.S. militarizing Ukraine, okay? That part of it. And they're like, yo, well, we're not going to sit here and in the name of peace allow you to do this and put us at a risk. It says here in quotes by Putin, tomorrow rockets could appear near Kharkov. What are we going to do about it? It is not us placing our missiles there. It's them shoving theirs under our nose. That's what he said, right? So is Russia just going to sit there and say, oh, you do whatever the hell you want to do? You come on over here, you put your missiles and whatnot and your rockets and whatever right here, right here, and get ready to blow us up, and we ain't going to do shit about it. Hell no. Because that's why the prophecy says that what? The Lord is going to put it into their mind to have that evil thought. So now I'm going to go here back to the book of Isaiah 13, and let's hit one of these prophecies. Isaiah chapter 13, verse, we're going to go straight to the point. Isaiah 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. All right, and the Medes in Isaiah 13 and 17 is referring to the Russians. And who is the them that the Lord is going to stir them up against? Babylon. But Babylon is associated with NATO, all right, and for now, it's allies. Okay, so that's going to be a war, but we understand that what's going to happen? Eventually, those allies are also going to turn on Babylon. They're going to burn this place. All right. But the Lord said he's going to stir up the Medes. So this is an example of him stirring them up. See, Putin and Russia have been in that hibernation state, that avoid war if you can state. But now the Lord he's just doing things, provoking to stir them up. He's putting those hooks back into their jaws and turning them. Okay, so that they can what? They can be prepared and be made ready for war. Okay, war is in the air. Now it says, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, which is talking about the missiles, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, which are children. Now they shall not spare children, because they're not going to say, oh, hold up, they have children and young ones over there on that land. Don't shoot the missiles. No. They're going to shoot all this shit. And the Lord is going to guide it and put his spirit in it and devour the land that much more. Verse 19, and Babylon, and see, look, here's the thing, right? When that happens and people realize that nuclear war is imminent, you're going to see people scrambling, bugging out, crying, begging, oh, please, what do we do? What can we do? Because they're going to realize that there's only one way out of it. See, right now, you could say, oh, I'm going to go take the juicy juice and I'm going to still be good. I'm going to go take the charagma and I'm going to still be all right. Right? Thinking that there's some escape. But when the missiles come, there's only going to be one, especially if you're here on the soils of America, there's only going to be one way out. And that's by going up into the chariots. If you don't go, if you ain't up in them chariots and you here, you're done. You're dead. And when people realize that and it hits them and they're sitting there like, oh shit, it takes roughly 13 minutes for a certain kind of missile that Russia shoots to hit this land. I don't have a nuclear bunker. I don't even know if that'll save me. And I don't know what to do. And then now I think these men were right. Because now they're looking up at those UFOs and some of them are getting beamed up. And I want to get beamed up so that I don't burn in this fire. But then they realize, oh, but those are the men that I was cursing out. I was talking shit. I laughed at them. I mocked what they said. I came against them. Do I even have any chance of getting beamed up? No. And then all that regret, all that starts to hit them. It all sinks in. Oh, shit. They get the flashbacks of when they walked by and they hissed. When they went on a comment board, started talking shit. When they mocked, when they said whatever wickedness they did, it all flashes. And then the fire comes. And then boom, you're done. Okay? And then the elect getting beamed up. It tells you that in the book of Matthew that 2 shall be in the field and 1 taken. And it's going to be just in time. And that's why the elect are going to be rejoicing. Okay? That's why they're going to be rejoicing in the chariots. Because it's going to be an intense, very, very, very intense moment. A very intense time. Because there's going to be a lot to process. All right? Even though we know it ahead of time. So it says here, and Babylon, verse 19, Isaiah 13 and 19, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Because what happened to that place? It got burned with fire and brimstone, but Lot, all right, scarcely made it out. Because that same day he made it out, it was burnt with fire and brimstone. And that's going to happen to this place. It says here, verse 20, it shall never be inhabited. So there's your answer. No, we're not going to come back and fix this. No. This place is never going to be inhabited. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Nobody's going to come here. Nobody's going to live here. Nobody's going to set up shop here. None of that. Verse 21, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, because this place is going to be made a desert. It says, because everything is going to be burnt up. And their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So you're running out of time, buddy. And if you devils are watching this, you better hurry up. You better hurry up, man. Because the prophecy is telling you, man, that your time is up. Time is up, buddy. Whether you do something or you don't do anything, which you will do something, you're still going to lose. You're in a lose-lose situation. We're in a win-win situation. So if you try to do something to us, the Lord is going to defend us. If you don't do anything, the Lord is still going to come and destroy your ass. So what do? You know, we're going to rejoice and we're going to keep chanting down Babylon, and because prophecy is on our side, and prophecy is unstoppable. So we can rejoice all we want. We can be bold in the Lord. We can proclaim these prophecies with all boldness because it's on our side. It doesn't matter if you throw us in jail. It doesn't matter what you try to do. You can't stop the fact that this place is going to be destroyed, and Yahushua is going to come and deliver us out of this place. And we're going to be put on top. And the kingdom of heaven is coming. Nobody can stop the kingdom of heaven from coming. Whether you believe it, whether you don't believe it, whether you're an atheist, whether you're whatever you are, you can't stop the fact that once this thing takes place, which is very soon, the Lord is going to come back and set the Israelites up in rulership, and that's going to be the way it is for all eternity. No matter what you do, even if you shot yourself, if you went to sleep, if you said you don't believe this anymore, if you move to another country, if you try to go to space somewhere, it will not stop that prophecy from being fulfilled. The only thing between now and that prophecy is time. That's it. And time only moves forward. Time doesn't stop and it doesn't slow down, because unless the Lord decides. But we're talking on a regular basis. All right, so we're headed for salvation. You know, we're headed for glory. We're headed for victory. That is why we need to show the Lord. I mean, shit, you got to show the Lord you're excited. He's like, I'm getting ready to do all these wondrous, mighty works on you guys' behalf. And then he looks down and you standing at camp all yawning and shit, all tired, looking around like, hey, when is this going to be over? You know? You doing and then I think that's what this means. This, and I mean, that's pretty much it. You don't have that enthusiasm, that fire, and the Lord is looking at. He's like, what the hell is going on over here? You see, I'm doing all this. I'm sending my angels here. I'm telling them, yo, get this ready. Yo, do that. This shit gonna be intense, man. Wait till they see what I got, and then you look down and the hell is that? What the hell is that? The Lord wants to look down. You see, hey, we gotta, hey, get into it. You there, you sitting there, you laying on your bed. You like, man, what the hell I'm laying here for? The thought comes into your mind. You look up an article, whatever it is. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna bring this out. You know, you go out there, you show the Lord, hey, Lord, look, I'm excited to do this word, but I'm even more excited now that these prophecies are being fulfilled. So I'm coming out here and I'm bringing it out with fire. You know, as Paul said, fervent in spirit, not slothful in business. So I'm coming out with heat. You know, I might just burn the signboard. You know, I'm just joking. But you gotta be into it. You know, especially when you're going over these prophecies that you're seeing and that are about to be fulfilled and that are right here. You know, you get excited because it's you believe that it's gonna happen. You know, you believe that, yo, I'm not just saying these words. I'm not talking air. You know, I'm not just speaking into the air. You know, we're speaking these things into existence. So we're speaking it with boldness. We're speaking it with confidence. We're speaking it with passion. You know? So when the Lord looks, he's like, yeah, yeah, all right, keep going. Hey, move faster. Hey, pick up the pace. You know? So that everything can be good, man. And if you don't want to do that, then shit, what's your problem? All right, let's go to, I got two more precepts and then I'll wrap it up. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 15, verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. And when that 7th angel sounds, this place is done. And we got to be out of here. Verse 2, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that have gotten the victory over the beast. And that's the firmament, which the elect are going to be able to see the destruction from those chariots as they look down. Okay, now in details how it's going to be, I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't say you're going to look down and the floor is going, the bottom of the chariot is going to just look transparent so you can see through it, or if you could look out through windows, or Lord willing, we the elect, we're going to find out. All right. It says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast. Shit, I want a victory. You don't want a victory? You don't want, you're not tired of this devil? Every day, these devils come out with some shit. Yo, we recommend boosters. No, matter of fact, we're not going to do it. Oh, matter of fact, we're going to do it, and you should all take it now. All this is always some stupid, oppressive, unrighteous decree, and we're tired of this shit. Now, I mean, we can't physically go and take them down, but we're going to gain the victory through Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So don't you want that? I want that victory. You know, I'm tired of it. Man, man, Esau, man, that damn demon, man. It says, they had gone the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. All right. So the elect are going to be rejoicing, man. And I want to be a part of that. And I'm sure all of you want to be a part of that. So what do? Well, what does it say in the book of Peter? Give your diligence to make your calling and election sure. You want to be here? You want to be a part of these individuals? All right. Give that diligence. Okay. So lastly, the last precept I had was the book of Revelation, chapter 21. And I'm going to go to verse 4. It says, and the Most High, because this is what's going to come next. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death. We're not going to die anymore. Neither sorrow. And this is going to be for the nation of Israel, but the elect are going to experience it first. No more death, which means immortality. Neither sorrow, neither crying, neither shall there be any more pain. No physical pain, no emotional pain, none of that. For the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are faithful and true. And we're willing to bank our whole life on that. That these words are faithful and true. Okay? So if you are willing to go the full extent, to the point where even if you have to lose your life for this because you believe it's true, then you got to show Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai through what you do now. That you don't need to give up your life for him to see that you're serious about this. But if you have to, then you do it. All right? Because at the end of the day, there is nothing, as Paul said, there should be nothing that can separate you from the love of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And that paycheck and that reward that the Lord is going to give, I know I said this was the last precept, but this is going to be the last precept. This is Revelation 22 and verse 7. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. And then I'm going to jump down to verse 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So the Lord is going to reward you according as your work shall be. You want a fat paycheck? You put in that work. You want extra? You put in overtime. You know, but show the Lord that you are about this. Show the Lord that you know what I mean, that you want it. You know, because what we're doing is a great work. So you want to be great doing a great work. All right, you want to go hard. Floyd Mayweather, he's a boxer. He goes hard in boxing. Boxing ain't shit compared to this word. But yet, look at where he's at. So if we can go hard in the most important thing in the world, where do you think we're gonna be at? And that's why the elect are gonna be superstars, man. Because the Lord is gonna glorify them and recognize and acknowledge and reward their works and their labor of love which they have had toward his name. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying and exhorting unto the elect. You see these prophecies coming to pass, there should be no reason why you were not on fire. All right, there should be no reason, because these things are happening right before our eyes, man. We got it. All right, of all the close to 8 billion people on the planet Earth, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai blessed us with the truth. All right, so with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rachak Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.